Greetings to all. I'm Naziwa Linechen. I'm a student at University Technology Malaysia, and I've been tasked to present about a question. How can the contingency leadership theories be applied among 21st leaders? So the situation at hand that I'll be considering is the COVID-19 pandemic, and the 21st century leaders in focus are company managers of mainly industries and factories. So to briefly introduce about contingency leadership theories mainly focus on adaptability and flexibility of a leader based on the different situations at hand and the followers. So contingency leadership is a dynamic approach that emphasizes the importance of adapting leadership styles based on the different situational factors. And to continue, there are three different variables for these particular leadership theories. One is the followers, two is the leader, and finally the situation at hand. So the first theorem and model that I'll talk about is the leadership continuum theory or model. The leadership continuum theory or model focuses on the power the manager has or authority and the authority or freedom that is given to the followers. It demonstrates that the connection between a manager's use of authority and the amount of authority they choose to grant their team is highly important, and the manager's power should diminish as the team and manager's development improves. The second model or theorem is the path goal leadership model theorem, and this is one that mainly focuses on how leaders motivate their followers to accomplish destined models, and the leader's behavior should mainly correspond to the characteristics and needs of the followers, and finally the situation or working setting. So one of the other theorems is the Fielder's contingency theory, which is mainly what I'll focus on to illustrate how the 21st century leaders can actually take up use of this particular contingency theory model. So the contingency theory model that was developed by Fiedler mainly states that effective leadership depends on the alignment of the leader's style with the situation of favorableness. And that means that there's actually no best leadership style for any project or work to be done, but it mainly depends on the followers, the leader, and finally the situation. These are the three particular variables at hand that are also looked at by the Fielder's contingency theorem. So the situation at hand is COVID-19, and COVID-19 is where many company managers actually fail to understand what to do. They are very frustrated. Some didn't actually know which leadership style to take on for the companies to remain working and continue with production, as well as elevate the company's sales and keep the organization running. So in this particular aspect, COVID-19 was a situation that stressed them and that caused a lot of issues to do with their followers and leaders. So in this case, one would actually require to apply one of these theorems, and in focus is the Fielder's theorem, and they would actually need to know which style they can use to implement. One of the styles is the task-oriented leaders, and the second one is mainly the relationship-oriented leaders. So task-oriented leaders use their organizational skills to achieve goals effectively, while the relationship-oriented leaders are great at fostering team synergy to achieve goals. So one would actually require to either be one of those two, and how can this be done is in different categories that we shall continue on. So one of the company managers, for example, can take on the LPC scale to determine which kind of leader they are, and the LPC scale mainly focuses on a high LPC or a low LPC or a moderate LPC, as we shall see further on. So this is the LPC scale. And the leader would actually be required to either fill in different values, as you can see, and circle either on the left, more on the left, or on the right. And those values that are got are finally later on summed up. And the high ones, which are like 65 and above, are for the high LPC, which are motivated by relationship. And the ones that are less are for the LPC, yet while those that are 58 to 63 are in the middle zone, hence social independent leaders. So a leader would actually require to do this to be able to tell which side of the LPC scale they scale. Then in addition to that, Fielder suggests that they could also depend on the situation of favorableness. So in situation of favorableness, there are three factors. The first one is the leader-member relations. How is the level of trust between the company manager and the workers in the company? And how is the respect between the leader and the team? And then on the task structure, how are the tasks to be done? Is it well known by everyone in the company's structure on how to implement the different tasks, and how are the organization and the clarity of the tasks? And then finally, the leader's position and power. Of course, the company manager is higher than the people on the production line, so he has power in this situation of COVID-19 to implement and to command or take on actions that can help. So in short, the company manager has a high leadership position. The task structure depends on how the company is well structured in terms of tasks and knowledge on how to do the different tasks. And finally, the leader-member relations. And leader-member relations mainly bases on the trust and respect between the leader and the team of the company. So in general, this is how the Fielder's contingency theory works and how it can be applied. So a leader would actually come and have to choose rating their leader member relationships, they would have to choose whether it's good or poor, and then their task structure would be high or low. And then so the situations at hand can be favorable, moderate, or unfavorable. So as you can see, the different categories: leader member relations, task structure, leader position, power. And then for leader member relations, the manager would either have to choose if it's good or poor, and then for the task structure, if it's high or low, and finally for the leader position power, if it's strong or weak. So in this case, the manager that we chose earlier, the leader, let's say the leader position power is high, and so it can be strong. So we choose any strong among these. Then for the task structure, let's assume the structure is well laid out, that it is perfectly going on well, and he's able to tell how to do different tasks to the different members that are in the team, and maybe there are some documents that align with what tasks are supposed to be done and how, and everyone has the knowledge. So that will, at the end of it all, they would either zero down to being as task oriented or relationship oriented, as you can see here. So those that are low LPC, they are very effective at completing tasks, and yet those that are high LPC generally more with relationships with each other. The practicability of this theory, and so this is actually applicable in a way that they can easily do reflective practice on themselves and self-awareness, that even when COVID-19 is done as a pandemic, they're able to tell which kind of leadership best suits the different situations that they later on handle in life. And finally, it also provides a clear method to match the leadership style with the situation at hand. But the disadvantage of this could be that the model's binary nature may oversimplify complex leadership tasks and subject to, which is not a very good thing. So in general, I actually think the leadership contingency theories are very good structure to help out leaders in implementing their different tasks. Comparing a different situation, the followers and leader, I believe, is very efficient and capable of helping a leader go through any situation they have at hand at the different levels, be it a company, organization, or country at large. Thank you so much.